G'day guys, Peter from Team Low Range 4x4 here, and today we're going to be talking about the Dominator X 7.2 12,000 pound winch from Kings. Let's get into it, but just before then, don't forget to, yes, thank you, roll! Yes, the winch. Now what I want to do here is do a little bit of overview of the 3 years that I've owned this winch. Then I'm going to do a very basic standard recovery, how to do it using this particular winch. Now I've put myself into a little bit of a situation, the best situation I can find in these circumstances, unfortunately. So just take it as a bit of a step-by-step if you've never used a winch before. This is probably the safest way you can do it. So the Dominator X comes with this wireless remote. You can plug in a cable if need be. It obviously goes from point A to the box. I do have that stashed in the car, but I'm going to be using the wireless remote in its wireless function using this control box that it also comes with. And this control box obviously goes in to the control box, or remote or antenna, or however you want to look at it, will go into the control box. So let's do that now. Remove the cap, which would normally hang up here or down here. You can see that it's missing its little rubber extra that would connect here. So unfortunately that's missing. That's a downside to the winch, but the box itself is still sturdy construction. It's high, it's doing its job, but let's get straight back into it. I find it easy. It's got the 315 12 volt written there, and that just lines up with the pins. There's 4 pins, if you can see them there, 4 pins. Connect it simply like that. And when you've done that, you then have your remote control, and you can use the button and it will turn on and it will say wired or wireless, and we're going to be running wireless. But before I do that, I'm going to have to start up the car. Just a quick side note, now I've got this winch hooked up to my cranking battery, the starter battery. So, and it's recommended in the instructions that you do. So what I want to do is have the car running so I don't flatten my battery as I use it, because it obviously draws quite a lot of current when you're winching a car. So let's do that now. So we'll set the winch up. I've got the control in my hand, but we're going to need some extra bits and pieces here. It's best to have the recovery gear ready. So what do I mean by recovery gear? Well, you've got the winch, but what else might you need? Alright guys, it's pretty obvious. When you're out in the bush, you want to be able to enjoy it, and you want others to be able to enjoy it, and if you return to that location, you want to be able to re-enjoy it yourself. So how do you not damage the environment? It's probably obvious. Tree trunk protector. Now if you get a little kit like I did from the Kings people as well, you can get yourself this Hercules, I believe it is, recovery pack. Comes with snatch straps, and it comes with a tree trunk protector. And when I've chosen my tree, which is up there, I'm going to be able to set this all up for my winch recovery. And you set it up just around the base of the tree. The base is probably the best place to have it because it's low down where the roots are. If you're pulling up here, you might be pushing a bit of a force up here and then making the tree, if it's a thinner tree, could snap. And we don't want that to happen. So have it down near the base. We're probably going to get a bit of crackage here because this tree unfortunately looks like it went through the bushfires. At least it did, but it's strong, the roots are strong, so I've chosen it as my tree of choice. Remember that recovery bag we just talked about? Well, this also doubles up as a safety mechanism. Once you whack everything out of it, which I have done, you can then whack this on top of your line, your recovery line. And if that fails, or a component fails, you basically, what it does is drops to the ground, and it protects pretty much everything from whipping around and whash and, you know, doing all this action that you don't want to have happen. Okay guys, I'm just going to go through the motion step by step. Hopefully you can see how easy it is, and I'll try and do a safe recovery. Now, it's just a demonstration. I have to point that out. Disclaimer once again, just a demonstration. This is not going to be quite a difficult recovery. I probably could just four-wheel drive straight out of this. So it's basically just that. Alright guys, so in the end I had to do basically a deadlift with the winch. I found it was just a little bit too easy for the Hilux to just drive up that little bit of a mound. Even in two-wheel drive, which is what I was in, I decided just to let the winch do the full job. So that would be no different than if you were actually in a bog hole and you had to find yourself some traction, because at the end of the day, as much as you want to assist the winch, sometimes the winch has to do all the work. So what do I think of the Domin8r X 7.2 12,000 pound winch? Still inconclusive. At the end of the day, it works on these short little uses, and I feel that it's going to be fine next time I'm stuck in the bush. But always try and carry as much recovery gear as possible, and also double check things before you actually attempt an obstacle. Double check your winch is working, make sure everything's fine. Have a plan if that doesn't work. These are all little things that you can think about before you go, you know what, I'm by myself, this thing's probably 3 meters deep, I'm going to plunge through it, or this rock shelf I'm going to go up looks pretty dodgy, I'm probably not going to be able to reverse out of this if things don't go right. Try and make sure you stay safe on the tracks, guys, at the end of the day. If you enjoyed this film, don't forget to, I said it before, thank you again, and thumbs up, comment if you want to see me actually challenge myself with the Hilux. Now, that's if the tracks are open. At the moment of this video, they're not, and I'll catch you in the next video.